What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down 2 tips for wide receivers to be unstoppable and how you guys can avoid making these common mistakes that wide receivers will make that will get them covered and get them locked up by a DB. So I hope this video helps you guys out. We're going to be discussing why wide receivers should not be beating the drum and how you guys can get out of breaks faster to give a DB less time to react. So again, hope this video helps you guys out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. And also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want to get some work in with us this offseason, we are traveling out to 4 more states this year for 2-day long QB and wide receiver training camps. So we're going to be coming out to Dallas, Texas next, then Nashville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, and then Los Angeles, California. So if you guys want some more information on those camps, what we'll be covering, check out that very first link below, fellas. We'd love to have any of you guys from our YouTube community out there. We really appreciate you guys tuning in every day. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first here. Wide receivers have been taught since the beginning of time to beat the drum. So what does beat the drum actually mean? That's when you get to the top of the route and you do all this like unnecessary movement with your hands, with your feet, and all that serves to do is it gives the DB more time to react. So let's play this thing full speed. We're going to be looking at this route, then a route from Chad Ochocinco. So at this break point, pretty much this ball being in a perfect spot bails this wide receiver out. That's the definition of throwing somebody open, because I personally don't think he's open. Because when you're running a stop route, a comeback, a curl, we want to obviously do what? Every single rep, we want to be selling what? I want to be selling fade, right? I want to make this DB think that I am running deep until the last possible second. I want to be able to stop on a dime. So when you're running up into a route and he's doing everything right, he's got his head down, he's got a good body language, he's running full stride, full speed. But when you start to do all this unnecessary movement with your hands, with your feet, chopping down, all that does is give this DB more time to react. How much better would it have been if he could have just snapped down and just stopped on like 3 to 4 steps right there and came back to the ball? But because he started doing all this movement with his hands, because he started chopping his stride, that's just gave the DB an indicator. That just let him know, hey, I'm making a break, right? So when we do this thing, I'm going to play it full speed one more time. You see how it's wasted movement. It's wasted time. And that is what we want to eliminate to be that unguardable, unstoppable wide receiver. We want to eliminate wasted time. Not a big steps guy. And I'm not a big guy who says that you have to get out of a break in X amount of steps or on the X amount or the X correct foot. I'm just saying we want to eliminate wasted time. So let's play it again one more time. Just don't give that DB any extra time to react than he already has. So now let's look at the difference here. Let's look at this route and let's look at the separation. Same type of route, but he drops his hips and he snaps down. There's no unnecessary movement there. When he drops into this break, does he beat the drum? Does he chop his feet? No, because that's an indicator. When you start chopping down like that, you have to physically do that a couple yards before the break. Like let's say, for example, like this is 15 yards right here. And let's say you're running a 15 back to 12-yard comeback. If you're going to beat the drum and you're going to chop your feet to break, if you run all the way up to 15 yards and you do that, you're going to drift past 15 and then come back down to 12. And that extra drift, if that DB is off coverage in a back pedal or running hip to hip with you, that gives him time to react. Now, if you're going to break at 15, you got to start chopping your feet at around 12 so you hit at 15 and then you could come back to 12. So now if you're going to be doing this and you're running this comeback route, if you're going to drop down and snap down with your hips and stop on a dime, you can do that at 15 yards. And that hip drop creates explosion. That hip drop is getting into a violent position to shoot you back to the ball. It doesn't give the DB time to react, and it gives you more speed out of the break. So why wouldn't you do that? People get on me on Instagram, TikTok for saying, oh, hey, you don't want to beat the drum. You don't want to beat the drum. And they say, oh, every wide receiver beats the drum. No, they don't. They keep their hands active and they drop their hips. They don't sink their hips. They don't chop their feet. They are violent with their hips. And that violent hip drop, fellas, is what will get you open. That is, at the end of the day, it doesn't give the DB time to react. There's no indicator with all this extra movement with your hands. It is a violent change of direction so we could come back to the ball. You want to drop your hips down, you want to slam your hips down, and you want to be powerful with your steps. Eliminate all wasted time possible. It's not about steps, it's about selling fade and giving the DB not enough time to react. I used to coach at a high school before doing all this training stuff, and I was a safeties coach for a little bit. And what we would tell our guys, especially safeties, when you're watching a wide receiver run a dig, run a curl, and you're off coverage like this, and you see their hands start to get abnormally active, break on the ball. Or expect a break because they're going to be slowing down. It's a key indicator. You're letting everybody know that I'm changing direction when you change up your hand speed. Keep your hands natural, keep your hands active, but the hip drop is what changes direction for you. Let's play this example full speed one more time. This is a perfect example of how snapping down, dropping your hips violently is much better than beating the drum and wasting time. Okay, so now we're going to be talking a little bit about like a hard cut or like a speed cut, if you will, right? So this wide receiver is going to be doing something called a diamond release. Then we're going to be looking at a post route from Amari Cooper, which is kind of the same concept. So we have an inside shade DB, right? And you have to run an inside breaking route. So what you probably want to do here is you want to attack his outside shoulder, try to get him to open up his hips and flip vertical so we could slip back underneath. So when we do this, we have to be able to sell vertical. Like I said, we have to be able to run hard. We have to be able to run fast. But what this wide receiver does is he starts to slow down. And that is one of the key things that wide receivers lose separation on and they get locked up. So let's play this thing full speed. So he comes off 1, 2, 3. But you see how he slows down on the inside foot. What a DB is looking for is he's looking for 3 things. He's looking for a change in your pad level. He's looking for any key indicator with that pad level, whether that's beating the drum, rising up, whatever it may be. He's looking for a change in stride. And last but not least, he's looking for a change in speed. So if you're going up into a break and you start to slow down into it and it's not explosive, it's not quick, it doesn't happen on a dime, easy money for that DB. So that's what this wide receiver does. He bursts up, he takes those 3 steps, but when he breaks into this thing, he braces for it. He starts to slow down on the inside foot. Then he's starting to make that cut with the outside foot. But as soon as you brace for it, as soon as you change speeds, that DB is going to change speeds. He's not going to run hard unless we don't run hard. So what wide receivers need to get comfortable with is cutting off of that 1 foot, staying committed to the break where he goes 1, 2, 3, rather than he goes 1 step, that's his first step. He takes a second full step, and he's able to break right off of that third. But when wide receivers aren't confident in that third step, being able to cut on a dime like that, maybe they lack leg strength, maybe they lack ankle stability, knee stability, whatever it may be. When they're not confident in that, they love to slow down, brace themselves for it. We cannot do that, fellas. It gives that DB, a good DB, too much time to recover. So let's play this thing full speed, and then we'll look at this clip from Amari Cooper doing the same kind of concept here. Just make sure, fellas, we do not slow down leading into that break point. So now Amari Cooper is going to be running a post here. He's got inside shade off man coverage. Right? So what does he want to do? He wants to attack the outside shoulder of the DB, get that DB to flip open so we could slip back underneath and catch that post. So he kind of stems him inside a little bit, but there is no change of speed. He cuts off of 1 single foot. So let's play this full speed. So he comes off, goes out the outside shoulder, bam, 1 step, he's able to break this thing right off. That is textbook as to what you want to be able to do. He goes here, 1, 2, bam, off of 1 single foot. That DB is fully committed. That does not give him time to react to it. Imagine if he would have been here, attacked the DB's leverage, pushed back up vertical, and started to slow down before he made that speed cut. All that does, when you slow down, DB is going to slow down. Fellas, what's going to make you an unstoppable receiver is you having that great change of direction. It is very easy. I think every wide receiver can sell vertical. Everybody can sell fade. Everybody can make the DB think you're running deep if you have the right pad level, if you have the right stride, if you have the right speed. But not a lot of guys can change direction off of that full speed run. So how do I work on stuff like this? I have to make sure that I have strong legs. I got to make sure that I'm working one-legged exercises so I can make these types of cuts. A lot of wide receivers will go out there, but they physically just can't make the cuts. You know, they got real skinny legs. You know, they can't change direction fast like that. You could just kind of tell they're not the most explosive people in the world. And that's okay. I mean, if you're a young guy, like that's fine. We got to get better, though. We have to constantly be improving those skills. So what you can do is a lot of one-legged exercises, a lot of leg strengthening exercises, a lot of explosive exercises in the gym, on the field, things that are going to improve those aspects. Because as a wide receiver, you shouldn't be training like a bodybuilder. You shouldn't be going into the gym doing bench press, trying to max out, doing curls. Like, yeah, everybody does that. I get it, and you want to look good. I understand. But at the end of the day, you're a football player. You got to try to do things that are going to help you perform on the field. So if you're not in the gym and you're neglecting a lot of, like pistol squats, one-legged squats, RDLs, squats themselves, explosive like power clean movements, you're going to lack explosion, balance, stability on the field if you're not doing the things in the offseason to take care of this. This doesn't happen overnight. It's constant. Every day you need to be doing something to improve these skills. Some people are naturally gifted with these skills, but if you're not, you got to put in the time, you got to put in the effort and do the things you need to do to make these types of cuts. If you feel like you're not the most explosive guy, let's work on it. You feel like you don't have the balance and explosion to cut off on one leg, let's work on it, fellas. Let's play this thing again, full speed. Great technique here by Amari Cooper, being able to cut off of 1 foot and not slowing down before the break point due to lack of stability on that leg. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments section below. We always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys as usual. If you guys have any questions, like we said, leave them in the comment section. But also, fellas, if you want to get some work in with us this year, we're traveling out to 4 more states, and then we're going to be on break until the beginning of next year. We're coming out to Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Salt Lake City, Utah, and then Los Angeles, California. So I hope this video helped you guys out. Check out that very first link below. I'll see you guys next time.